Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insights of a Survivor. My name is PJ. I am your host today, and I just want to let you, I'm just appreciative so much of you guys tuning in to another episode. This is the place where silence ends and healing begins. It isn't just a podcast. This is a life testimony where the deepest wounds become loudest war cries. This is where myself or any of my guests turn every piece of our pain that tried to bury us into bricks on how we stand. I didn't create this platform for likes or follows, even though those are always welcome. So bring them. Subscribes too. I created it because I was dying in silence. I created it because I needed a place to scream when no one wanted to hear my truth, because I was abused, discarded, gaslit, broken, and still expected to smile. I've been silenced by family, failed by the system, betrayed by people I loved, and forced to survive when all I wanted to do was rest. But I didn't just survive, I rose. And I promised myself that once I found my voice, I'd never let another survivor suffer in silence, and I'd bring anyone along who was ready for this ride. So this podcast is my rebellion. It's my safe space turned sacred ground. It's for everyone who's ever been told to just move on. It's for the ones who fought to be seen and heard, the ones who are still healing while handling their business, still showing up while breaking down silently, still breathing after being emotionally, mentally, physically suffocated. Here, I don't give you just inspiration wrapped in a bunch of fluffiness. I give you the honest truth, and that's what my guests give as well. We give you stories that shake your soul. We give you survivors who aren't just surviving. We're rebuilding, reclaiming, and redefining our lives. I'm not here to play it safe at all. I'm here to rip the bandages off and show you that scars are not shameful. They're sacred. So if you've ever asked yourself, will I ever feel whole again? This is the space for you. If you've ever cried in silence and still got up the next morning, this is the space for you. And if you're ready to turn your pain into power, welcome home. Welcome home. So today's guest is someone who I have met through a connection that turned our actually we were strangers into a sisterhood. And her name is Dr. Candace Hayden. She is a force of will, a walking miracle, and the very definition of choosing life after devastation. Her role didn't start with tragedy. It started with achievement. She earned her doctorate in organizational development and change. But shortly after that the lows came crashing in. She lost her mother. Her 21-year marriage ended, and her son's basketball career was cut short by an injury. Then the betrayal, the heartbreak, COVID, isolation, and the overwhelming weight of watching life unravel piece by piece. And just when she started to find herself through soul coaching, fitness, yoga, and self-love, life hit her with one more unimaginable blow. She woke up paralyzed from the chest down. Doctors said she would never walk again. They offered her a nursing home, and she told her to lower her expectations. But Candace, she built herself back up one step at a time. She trained her body. She trained her mind. She used hypnotherapy, holistic healing, and sheer determination. And not only did she walk again, she completed 2 races in Greece, you guys. Come on now. This woman crossed the finish lines of the world that said that she would never reach. Now a certified life coach, a yoga instructor, a Zumba. Okay, I got to get with her on that one. And pound teacher, and a living, breathing example of resilience. Candace doesn't just talk about healing. She embodies it. She lives it. And today she is here to tell us just what it means to lose everything and still choose yourself. So take a breath, you guys, because this episode is about to shake you in the very best way. I'm going to give my sis Candace on the line.
Hi.
Hey, sis.
Hey,
Okay.
sis. Oh, my. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Woo.
You are welcome. You earned it. I mean, I would have given up. Zumba. Now, you know, I like the Zumba. I got my little moves there. I thank you so much for being willing to share your journey on our show. How are you this evening? I know we kind of had everything was going all over the place for both of us, wasn't it?
You know what? The devil said what?
And he alive, no
He
matter
didn't
what
want
it
us
was,
to
he
have this
alive.
conversation. Yep, he didn't have this conversation, but you know what? He doesn't get the final say. We do. But thank
No,
you so
ma'am.
much for having me. It is an honor and a pleasure. And thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you so much for the short notice. You guys don't know that me and her behind the scenes, we've been trying to get it all together. I think I sent her this link like 30 minutes ago, y'all. We've been trying. So thank you for working with me because it's been a day for the both of us. So let's get started. Let me kind of jump into 2014. You just earned your doctorate degree.
Woo.
And instead of celebrating, you
Hmm.
felt empty. You felt empty. Can you take us to that moment and what it taught you about like success versus fulfillment? Because you were successful, but you weren't fulfilled. And can you tell us about your PhD? I've never heard of that. I want to learn about that. I love learning, and I'm a little you goals. My next step is my PhD, so I'm coming. I'm coming, sis.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm going to start with the PhD and the reason why I went back.
Okay.
At that time, I had a master's, and I got a call from someone at work one day, and I work in a male-dominated field, and the person asked me if I had an MBA, and I didn't have an MBA. I had a master's in internet technology. Um, And I wondered why he asked that, and he claimed that our boss wanted to know. Well, I also had a relationship with our boss, so I'm thinking, well, if he wanted to know, he could have asked me. But I'm starting to feel a little inadequate. But so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should go back to school to get an MBA because I also knew that the group of men, they all had MBAs. So I started researching MBA, and even in all of my insecurities, I have this point where I click. And I was like, well, you know what? These mofos, I got one better for them. I'm going to go back and get my doctorate
Right there,
because
right
I don't
there.
want nobody else I don't want nobody else asking me about my education. The next person that asks me about my education, I will tell them, please, let me introduce you to Dr. Candace Lynn Hayden. And from that point on, I researched and figured out what school I needed to go to. And I'm a technologist. So I didn't want anything in technology because that's boring. I am a technologist, but I like color, I'm vibrant, I'm that girl. And I'm like, I don't know. So I ran across this program, and I didn't want an EDU because that's education, and I didn't want leadership. And I ran across this program that was for organization, development, and change. And what am I? I'm the top person in a company in IT, but I'm a change agent. So you know what? I'm gonna go back and learn everything I need to know about change. And that's how and why I went back, because it was from a standpoint of inadequacy. But in being inadequate, and sometimes the thing that you don't tell that inadequate person is what they're not.
Right
So
there.
that part of the journey. That is that part of the journey. So it was a 2.5 year program, and I was uh, 6 months from completing, and I completely changed my dissertation, which meant I had to start all over. But I was determined to graduate with my cohort. I was determined. So I did that. We fast forward, and I do my defense. And my subject was a little controversial because, I mean, that's me. I'm just going to knock it out of the park. And when I got done with my defense, not there wasn't a dry eye. Not even my eyes were dry. And when I hung up the phone, I was like, "Oh, okay. So what? 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 I mean, I'm published. Okay. What does that get me? What? I'm a doctor of what? Doctor who? So." That's where that part landed. That was
Okay.
a night of sheer isolation because,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you're trying to achieve something and you finally achieve it, then what? What's next?
Right. Right.
That's my story.
No, I get it. I mean, because I actually do have my MBA. That's why I'm like, oh. But when I got my MBA, it's like, okay, now what? I got the MBA, and it's not doing anything for me. You're not missing anything with the MBA. I can tell you that right now. So it's like, so I do get that. You know, you work, you bust your tail to get something that's supposed to make your life a little bit better and supposed to give you a sense of happiness and fulfillment, and it's not what you expect. So
Mm,
I 100% get
that part. It's not what you expect. You know, I expected the angels to come down from heaven.
it.
It
Right.
wasn't none of that, girl. It
Not
was
at
an
all.
empty office and me.
Man, and a
Yep, it
pay
was an
raise that
empty office
probably
and
gives
me.
you probably that much of a pay raise. Well, for
Oh,
the
I didn't
MBA.
even get that.
What?
I didn't even get that. I mean, to add insult to injury, I invited. I have a few bosses. I'll put it that way, and I invited all my bosses, and not nary one of them showed up.
I mean, don't question me about my education if you're not even going to watch me rise. Really?
That part.
Oh my goodness. Well, I am proud of you. I am proud of you.
Well,
You
thank
know,
you so
so
much.
you
Thank
are
you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. You earned that. You earned that. So
I'm educated, girl.
you know what? And that's all that matters. They cannot ever take that from you.
They
Ever. You
can, you
have
know
it.
what? That's what I would always tell my son as he was growing up. I told him he had this
Yes.
and this,
Yes.
and this will get him places, but this can never be taken away. They can even
Not at
take this
all.
away from you, but as
Hmm.
long as you got this, mm-mm,
I
nope.
tell my kids the same. I do. No one can ever take what goes in your brain. I mean, things happen, but
Yep,
those are like off one offs. But once you learn, it's in there forever. I don't care if I owe you 1,000 million, however much money in student loans. You can take my house, my car. You're not taking that
$1 trillion.
education back. There you go. That's the word.
That part.
I promise I'm educated.
Girl, my thing about a student loan, I'll pay them a penny a month until whenever. As long as you paying them, they ain't gonna come after you.
I
So
know.
I'll pay
Hey.
them a penny a month.
Oh, excuse me. My allergies have been acting up today. So you lost
I'm
both
so
of your
sorry to
parents. Oh no, you're fine. You lost both your parents, your marriage, and your son's sport career all within a short window of time. Like, how did you begin to breathe through all of that level of compounded grief and change all at the same time? Like, it was back to back. It was like, okay, enough. How did you ever manage all of that and still keep your sanity?
So there are times that I look back at my life and say I should be crazier than a Betsy book. And I would love to say, something super, super spiritual, but I'm gonna go back to something I said to a person not just the other day because they were like, you had to really have faith. And I said, I have faith, but
Hmm.
it times in that period that it wasn't my faith that got me through. And I was like, I we used to hear from like the grandmothers and back in the day in the church about borrowed prayers. Girl, I have lived on a whole bunch of borrowed prayers because there can come a time in your life when so much is going on that
Yes,
Jesus is
ma'am.
not what you're looking for
Yes, ma'am.
because he's not here. I need somebody to hug me. I need somebody to come down and say, this is going to be all right. So there are times that Jesus is the last word that you're going to say because you just don't know. You can be in the middle of the muck of the mire, as they would say. But I do have faith. And it
Hmm.
was my faith that got me through. But I'm not going to be saying that I was like, Jesus, we going to get through this. I know I'm healed. And I know I had days that I didn't know. I had days
Right.
that it was like, Lord, if you just get me through this moment when I go to
Just this
sleep, just
moment.
don't wake me up. Just don't wake me up because I'm done. So um, I it's just perseverance is
Yes.
what I would say. Perseverance. And yes, I do have faith. And I know it is not but for the grace of God. But if when I think about it and I think about other people's testimonies and what have you, that's not my testimony because I wasn't always walking along with the Lord knowing that it was going to be all right. Mm-mm. It was a lot of Lord, why? When is
Yes.
something going to happen? When is it going to change? But perseverance. And then you do know when you have faith, you know deep down in your heart, you know that everything's going to be all right. But I'm
Yeah.
human too.
Exactly. And I love that
Yeah.
you pointed that out because it is hard to just stand by faith alone when you're in the midst of it. It's hard, even though you do have the faith. You want your faith
Mm-hmm.
to start working now. Okay, Jesus, let's start working now. Where is it
Well,
at?
sometimes I think we as Christians, sometimes we compartmentalize, and maybe we don't know or feel that it can get bad for us. But he never said that everything was going to be all right. He said that you would get through,
Right.
and I had to continually remind myself about that. Because I went through the
Got it.
Lord Jesus. What did I do? I mean, I know I've had some. I'm not the perfect person, but who do I need to call and apologize to? Just tell me. I will do whatever. I'm not a bad person. I gave my tithes and my offering.
I and how is your
I
son?
didn't tell you really too. I'm sorry.
How's your son?
My son is doing great. He took his little
Yes.
tragedy and turned it around, and he is now an extremely successful attorney, and he's an NFL agent, and the apple of my eye.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes tragedy
Yeah,
leads to triumph. So that, it doesn't feel like that in the moment, but it's always for a reason. And his testimony sounds
it's
like a
always
good
for a
one.
reason.
Oh
It's
my
always for a
goodness.
reason.
I
Yeah.
love it. So you talk about rediscovering yourself. Okay, first of all, you don't look like you F no
Mhm.
49-year-old. So rediscovering yourself at 49, I'm just like, okay, ma'am, no, you're not 49, but that's fine. And realize you talk about rediscovering yourself at 49 and realizing you didn't know who you were. What were some of the most painful truths
Mhm.
that you had to face during your unraveling? And again, ma'am, you're not over 49, but that's okay. That's okay.
The most painful truth was that I didn't know who I was. I had been everything to everybody else, but nothing to myself. That's painful. Hmm.
I get that. Oop, I get that. I get that. So you said that April 18th, 2021 was the best day of your life before you even
Hmm.
realized you were paralyzed. Can you share what
Hmm.
revelations you had that day and why it marked a spiritual turning point for you?
So that day was, we were coming out of COVID, and where I live, restaurants had opened up, and that was a Saturday. And me and my bestie, we decided that we were going to start our training because I was and still am a triathlete, but we were going to start our training that day. We were going to do this 6 mile run, and we planned it so that we would come back and hit the restaurant, eat a little bit, and then we would have the 6 miles would be over, and then we could walk it off to get to our car. But earlier that day, I had went to the pool and I swam. I, I don't even remember how much I swam, but by the time I got done, I was so refreshed. And swimming is not my strong point. And I remember getting out of the water saying, "Ooh, I never had any trepidation at all." So I went to a store called Menards and I bought 50 bricks. And after the run and after the dinner, I came home and I was doing my lawn. And as I was, this was April, and it's not usually that warm to do your lawn in April, or not for me. So I was out raking my lawn, and I said, I'm not going to cry no more. Because for years, when I was married, I would do the lawn and I wouldn't have help, and I would cry. I'd be out there just to rake it, just to rake it. And I said, today, I'm not shedding no tears. This is the best day of my life. I laid my bricks. Then I went, where did I go? No, I came in the house and I laid on the floor and I was watching TV and I had my feet up on the couch watching TV and I fell asleep. I don't know what time I fell asleep, but I woke up and I looked at my watch and I said, oh, it's midnight. So that was the 17th. So actually, the 18th was the next day. And I said, oh, let me get up and go to bed. And I stood up and imagine taking a 3-month-old baby and put them on their feet and letting them go. So I fell. I said, that don't make no sense. So I was in my living room and I literally crawled into my kitchen because my couch is soft. And for whatever reason, I knew that I needed something sturdy. So I crawled into the kitchen and I got to the counter and I pulled myself up on the counter. I looked around and I said, okay. And I went to take a step and bloop, I went down again. My son happened to be at the house. And when I fell that time, I screamed and it woke him up. And he comes running down the stairs and he says, Mama, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. I can't walk. And he's like, what do you mean you can't walk? I was like, I can't walk. This part's kind of funny because he runs around and he finds some crutches and he brings me the crutches. And I looked at him and I'm like, baby, I can't use those crutches. I can't walk. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? Again, COVID had just ended. But we were, our hospitals were still semi-closed. And I said, I need to go to the hospital. But I didn't want to go to the closest hospital to our house. I wanted to go to the one where my primary doctor worked out of. And he's like, okay, well, how are you going to get to the car? And in order to get to my garage, you have to go downstairs. And I said, well, I'm going to crawl. And he's like, Mama, you're going to crawl? And I'm like, that's the only way I'm going to get there. So I crawled and then I scooted myself down so that I could get down the steps. And he had a Mustang and I had a Mustang. But he had the traditional Mustang. I had just bought my electric Mustang Mach-E. And then we both had Hummers. But I was like, I can't get into the Hummer because I can't get up. And he's like, Mama, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm going to let you drive my new car. And I pulled myself into the car and laid on the back seat on my stomach. And he drove me to the hospital. And like I said, our hospitals were still semi-closed. So he couldn't come into the hospital with me. So at that point, I was literally on my own. Literally.
So that had to be so terrifying. So, oh my goodness. So waking up paralyzed. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it was terrifying, but at that point I didn't really realize what was going on. So the way that I'm telling you the story, like how I talked to my son and everything, I was just that calm because I didn't know what was going on.
Okay. So being told that you'll never walk again and facing that alone, what kept you from just giving up when all you can do is just sit there, lay there and see the ceiling? Like what pushed you to keep fighting? Like, no, you're a lie. I'm gonna get up. I understand. Thank you for your advice, but I'm gonna walk again. Like what motivated you to have that drive?
Once again being pushed. So you and I just connected. So I actually documented all of this on YouTube. So 5 days after going to the hospital, I wake up and I'm literally still in the same clothes that I came to the hospital in. And they've moved me into a room and I've seen a doctor. Before I got to that room, they did some x-rays and the surgeon was like right by my side. And then they looked at the x-rays and the surgeon said, there's nothing wrong with you. So I'm done. And then this guy wheels me down, and I swear it was like the morgue. But again, I'm laying on my back. He wheels me down into this room, and I tell the man, do not leave me down here. There's nobody down here. And I don't even know how long I stayed down there, but they finally moved me upstairs. So I don't even know when that was, but 5 days later, I wake up and I realize I'm still in the same clothes I came in 5 days ago. Hold up. And then this doctor had been coming in and out saying, well, we don't know what's wrong. But they hadn't done any tests. They hadn't done nothing. So you get pushed. That man came in one more time and I said, you know what? This is unacceptable. I have been here 5 days. I'm literally in the same clothes. Do not come back in this room until you coming in to have somebody who can help me or who can at least see me. Because you've come in here with the stethoscope and you ain't even used it or a thermometer or anything. So I don't know what you are, but I don't want to see you no more. The next person I see better be able to help me. So then maybe 2 or 3 hours later, this little doctor comes in with a real doctor bag. I mean, serious. Have you seen a real doctor bag? I mean, it's a leather bag. You can tell it's been around the road a few times. He thumps on my legs, looks at me, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I've been here 5 days. So then he gives me a long list of things that this could be. And by now, maybe they've drawn some blood or something, but he gives me that list, and I'm a technologist. I can't walk, but guess what? I came to the hospital with my iPad. I don't know. I told myself, just get my iPad and give me some plugs. So I started researching, and of the things that they said that I had, it said that I had 5 days to get moving, or the likelihood of me ever walking again was no. Next doctor that comes in, I'm like, y'all keep telling me you don't know what's wrong, but you've given me these 5 things and you haven't provided me with anything. And according to what I've read, I think this is like day 6. I'm like, 5 days ago, you should have had me moving. So what's going on? Well, we don't have any physical therapy due to COVID. It was a whole bunch of mess. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that everybody that's coming into this hospital and the hospital that I happen to be in has a commercial about their wonderful physical therapy and the $1 million facility? No. So it's closed? I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only person that needs physical therapy. So are you telling me that it only applies to me? Or you don't have anybody in physical therapy? Because in about 2 seconds, channel 2, 4, and 7 gonna be up in here if I don't get some physical therapy. So I had to fight for almost 30 days in that hospital. 30 days. Every single day. I mean, they at one point in time they told me I had high blood pressure. And I'm like, I guess I would. I didn't come in here with high blood pressure, but I guess I would with the way you have been treating me and how I've had to fight every single freaking day that I've been here. If you had to do what I've done, I'm pretty sure your pressure would be high too, but you're not going to give me medicine because that's the other doctor coined me the Google doctor. Well, you ain't doing nothing for me. Google's my best friend right now. It was a mess. It was a mess. And when I tell the story, people say no. That's why on day 5, I started documenting because something in my head said, this is not going to go pretty and nobody's going to believe you. Nobody's going to believe you.
I believe you because, I mean, unfortunately, medical care for African Americans, especially in the United States, is severely lacking. This isn't the,
well,
I mean, this
I'm
is
so
the most
glad that you
extreme
brought
case.
that up. I'm so glad that
You're
you brought
welcome.
that up because I didn't know how I could say this on your show, but you know, I've
However
been
you
black all
like.
my life. I've been black all my life. But that hospital stay told me just how black I was.
They have a point.
That
They have a
part.
way of doing that. The system, whether it's medical, judicial, even retail, they have a way of reminding us who we really are.
Who
That's
we
when
really are.
That's when all those degrees and all this
Mhm.
education that we paying them back for, that's when they don't see any of that. They just see this.
But see, they just saw me in the hospital. They didn't know that, I was trained to research.
Mm-hmm.
You
No,
give me a couple of words, I can go find out, start mixing and matching. I know what my symptoms are, so can we do this? Can we do that? I mean, no, but you're not giving me anything, so I have to look for it for myself.
Right.
So here was one of the best things, the best crazy thing. I happen to be on Facebook, and this woman comes up, and she's in the hospital, and she has the same background as me. And I'm like, this woman is in the same hospital as me. And she's talking about having the same type of symptoms that I'm having. And I'm like, okay. So I messaged her and I asked her if she was in a particular hospital. And she says, yes. And I said, well, you don't know me, but I'm in the same hospital, the same exact hospital. And I described to her what was going on with me. And she's like, well, that's the same thing that's going on with me. So next day when my doctor comes in, I say, there is another patient in this hospital that has the exact same symptoms that I have. Oh, well, no two patients are the same. Well, are you even going to go? And she was in like the cardio area, and I was in the physical medicine area. Are you even going to go and talk to the other doctor and compare notes? Oh, no, there's no reason for us to do that because no two patients are the same. Okay. Hmm. Now, I will say for her doctor was on vacation, but that doctor did give her phone number for me to contact her if I needed to. But the people that were in my care refused to even talk to her doctor to see if we could be the same. So when I say some wild stuff happens, girl, some wild stuff happens.
Wow. That is not okay. That
That
is
is
not
not
okay.
okay. That is not okay.
I mean, it could have been something so simple, and they could have just had you out of there in 5 to 10 days, but they stole your life from you because they were being, I'm just going to be out there. They were being, I don't want to say racist, but they were
Oh
definitely
no,
judging you based off
very
of.
racist. I had one doctor
Okay.
tell me on day 26 that the government is going to put you out of here pretty soon. And I said, the government, what are you talking about? Oh, well, we can't keep you too much longer. And I didn't know this 30-day thing. Or I think it's like 28 days. And when I found out, I still hear that man, what he said in my head, because that mofo thought I was some welfare recipient. Dude, I got really good insurance.
Right.
That man said to me, the government is going to require us to put you out of here in a few days. And then walks over to, oh, and then convincing me that I should just get used to being paralyzed. And, I know that you used to be a triathlete and you can get one of those incumbent bikes. You don't have to be on a regular bike. And maybe you'll be able to compete again, but you won't compete at a walking level. You can compete in the handicap level. Okay. And then he proceeds to go over to my roommate, who's like 172 years old, and tells her, hey, we got to get you up and walking because we got to get you back to work.
Oh my
That part.
goodness. Oh my
So when
Lord.
I say there's days that I'm like, Lord, I am so glad that you kept my mind because there were times that it's like, did he really just do what he did? Or did they just really say what they said and this is acceptable? Oh, okay. Wow.
That is horrible.
Yes,
That is horrible.
ma'am.
I'm glad that you can laugh about it because, man, I mean, that's what happens. We go through our trauma, and then we weren't. I know you weren't laughing when it was happening, but I'm glad that you're in a position right now where you could just be like, ha, ha, because I probably still be calling that man an SOB right now to this day. That SOB said this to me. Ah!
Uh,
So there was something this is really sacred about how you're describing yourself and the way you dealt with this. Like, and then you also talk about walking through your neighborhood with a walker. What were those late night
mhm.
walks for you with having this?
Girl, so because I'm a runner, I had run all over my neighborhood. And where I live, we have these little pockets called subdivisions. So I had run through them, rode my bike through them, and I don't know that people ever really even noticed me until I was on that walker. And sometimes I would have to cross this major street, and I would hear honks, and then I started to realize that, oh, these people, they keep seeing me, so they're encouraging me. But I started off. So, like I told you, my house is on stairs. If you're not on the main floor, wherever you're going, you got to go to stairs. So, you know that belt, or I don't know, you may not, but there's a belt that they use in the hospital where they pick you up and all that good stuff. Well, somehow I ended up coming home with one of those. And I used to tie that belt to my walker and, get to the stair or wherever I was going, tie that belt to my walker and put it in front of me. And I would scoot on my butt down the stairs until I got to whatever level I needed to. And then I would put the walker together. I would get up, and then to get out of my driveway, you got to go down the hill. So I started just getting on the walker, going down the hill, coming back up the hill. And then, once I was strong enough to do that, and a good portion of this time, I wasn't walking like this. I was just pulling myself. Uh, so did the hill. Then I went, 3 houses down. Then I went 4 houses down. All the way around the circumference is a mile. Started doing that. Then I got real brave. I got me a rollator because I can go a little bit faster now. The walker was slowing me down, girl. So I got the rollator, and then I would do 2 times around. And then I got brave enough to take and go across the street, which is a major street. But, I would wait until enough traffic had cleared, and I would rollate myself across the street. And then I believe that I probably did like 8 or 9 miles. The longest through my neighborhood was like 8 or 9 miles because I was training for that race. Because I was supposed to do a half marathon in Greece. I was going to do that race. Some kind of way, I was going to do that race. So in my head, I was training for that.
Nice.
And
for time's sake, we can't really. For time's sake, I wanted to talk more about your you crossing that finish line in Greece, but I want to also talk about your. For time's sake, I want to get about your practice. You're a life coach, a yoga instructor, and a Zumba and pound teacher. Can you kind of go into detail about your how your holistic way of how you're giving back to the community that was basically, sure, I'm going to say forced upon you because you were put in a position where you had to help. That came out wrong. I'm sorry. My allergies. My brain is clouded. So, but you were basically put in a position by those. I'm sorry. I've been fighting these allergies all day, and I just realized I still have my clamps in my hair. So sorry about that too.
I can't even see them.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I should have said nothing then. Can you explain a little bit about your coaching and all of the practices that you're doing to help the community? Like, mine isn't as bad. I thought I was bad. I tore the meniscus in my knee, and I thought it was the end of the world. You overcoming actual paralyzation. Like, how do you use all of the education on top of the training and certification to help the community with Zumba? Because I do like Zumba. So again, I got your contact information.
Yes, ma'am. So I was a Zumba pound instructor and a yoga instructor before all of this happened. And the short story about that is I started off with Zumba. And the 2014, during the tragedy, I weighed 250 pounds. And I would go to the Zumba class and be in the back. And one day I was like, this girl ain't got no rhythm. I'm going to start teaching. So that's the first certification I got. And side note, I always do evening classes because that's the only time that I could go, and it's not a lot of evening classes. So part of me giving back is I always do evening classes, but I also wanted to do classes for that fat girl in the back that nobody ever paid attention to, because when you come to my class, everybody's welcome. Even if you're in the back, that when you walk into that class, you are welcome. Now, I have people that have been with me for years, and when a new person comes in, they are like, oh my God, this is like a family, because everybody's welcome in my class. And everybody must have mirror real estate, because when we don't feel comfortable about ourselves, we don't look in the mirror. And we got to have that mirror real estate so that you can look at yourself and watch that transformation. Now, the coaching also started in 2014. When I went into this building, I just happened to go into this building. I had been passing it for years. And that day, I just needed to know what was in that building. I go in, and this lady tells me that she's a soul coach. And I'm like, well, what's a soul coach? And she's like, glad you asked. We're having a class. Okay. So I sign up for the class and I go through the certification. And once again, I'm a soul coach. Okay, so what's that? What am I going to do with this? So let's fast forward to 2021. The beginning of the year, I had started getting my license for coaching. I should have been finished at the end of April. My tragedy happened. I am almost done. It is I believe it's 2022 or 2023 by the time I recontact the school. I explained to them what happened, and they were like, not a problem. We will let you back in so that you can finish. If you, based on what you said, are calling us today, we know you will finish. So I went on and got my coaching, and I eventually went to get my hypnotherapy license. And I use all of those modalities, and I like working with women. I have men clients too, but my passion is women, because we are everything to everybody else, but we are nothing to ourselves. And I use my practice to help people get back to, who am I? Who was who have I always been that I didn't know?
I
Meet
love that.
the you. Meet the you. And to watch the
Meet the you.
transformations is just so awesome. When I see that person make that transformation and they finally realize who they are, it's not only a release for them, but it's a release for me.
I love that. So I met you through our this is our podcast tour. For those of you that don't know, we are a part of a group called the Warrior Women of War. It's an anthology. They're having a live summit in December 12th. Is it December 12th, Miss Candace? That's
Yes,
the
it
live
is.
one. And then they have one in 2026. I'm not really sure about the dates yet. We'll start getting more promotional stuff once they get closer. But we're basically sisters of this anthology. And she, we yes, I know she's been like this is the first time we've actually spoken in person outside of our meetings every last Sunday, third Sunday of the month.
Third
So
Sunday of the month.
third Sunday of the month.
Yeah.
So it's kind of refreshing to be able to talk with her and speak with you and see you outside of a group of, I think, 12 or 13 other women. So what made you say yes to sharing your story in this space? And how do you feel knowing that you're going to see your truth in print?
So when I signed up, it was based on that commercial, that lion and the women standing behind the lion. I can't remember what I saw, and it was on a Facebook group for Speakers Wanted. So that's what I signed up for, because one of the things I said in 2025 is I'm going to start using my voice, because I have a voice and I'm going to start using it. And I didn't have a clue. I thought I was going to be speaking at like a podcast, and it turned out to be the anthology. So that's how I got involved in it. And I once she unveiled what it really was, I was like, you know what, I would love to do that. I recently wrote a book called Overcoming Loneliness, and I self-published it. And I'm like, I have a voice, and I need to use my voice. So that's why I just felt like this is what I'm supposed to do. This is see, I call this my Jubilee year. So if you don't know what that is, go look it up, and then you'll know how old I am or will be, because I haven't gotten there yet. But this is my Jubilee year. And Sister's coming out this year completely.
Nice. Yes, we get it out there. We get it out there. So there is a live summit in December, but Candace and I were both speaking on the Virtual Summit next year. And that both of the summits are about amplifying fierce, authentic warrior women. So what message are you going to bring to the virtual stage? I was going to say stage, but virtual stage. And what do you hope other women will walk away with after hearing you speak?
You know, I honestly do not know. I am one of the ones that hasn't finished my chapter. And I don't know if you remember me posting this, but I sat down to write my chapter and I wrote it. I'm writing, and so much came up that I was like, "Ooh, I gotta, I gotta."
I
step
do
back."
remember.
And then
I do remember.
Yeah. My title is "I've been fighting all my life," so take it from there. That's my title, and
Gotcha.
I'm almost done. I am almost done. And it's the raw truth about my life. So what I'm going to speak about is the raw truth about my life in terms of, whatever our setting is, whatever our theme is on that day that I speak. I am pretty sure there's going to be some raw truth about my life that goes along with that theme.
I mean, that's all you can give is the raw truth. That's the best story to tell is the raw, unfiltered truth. And that's giving us an idea of who you are. And
Yeah.
I love that. I'm excited to hear your story. I really am. I'm excited based off of what I've heard and seen so far. So I'm okay. And I'm excited to read your chapter too. I mean, I know that we all haven't read our chapters yet, but of course I'm going to get the book and I'm excited to hear your chapter. So how has
Thank you so much. And I can't wait to read everybody's chapter.
oh, please. I have to give a trigger warning with mine. just know I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm strong. We warrior women. Just know that.
We are warrior women. You saw my post that day that I was like, oh my God, I did not realize that it was going to be like this.
I do remember because it brings up a lot. It brings up a lot. So to even what
girl,
people don't understand
therapy. I needed serious therapy.
That's okay, because you know what? At least you got through it. You stuck in because a lot of people also don't understand about anthologies is not everybody's still with us. Not everybody was able to finish, and unfortunately, I hate to see some of us walk away because we all kind of formed a bond that's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
But when I finished my chapter, that's what I felt.
I'm almost there.
You're going to feel it.
There.
You're going to feel more accomplished when you finish that chapter than you did when you walked across that stage, because that's how I felt. I was like, I did it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm excited to hear your chapter. So what does, how does being a part of the Roar Sisterhood, this collective of survivors and visionaries, shifted your own healing and empowered your mission to help transform others?
You know what I feel is so awesome about our group is that I don't know if anybody even knew any of us, if we're all just first getting to know each other, but a group of women, especially a group of Black women that can come together without any inhibition and just hold each other up. I've never experienced that in my life.
Me either.
I love I love our Sunday calls, how we encourage each other. I don't always reply on Facebook because I've got a million things going on. But trust me, I read just about every message that's out there.
That's how I am.
It's so enriching. And that's what I love about it, because I've never experienced anything like this in my life. Never.
It's
a
beautiful.
Collective of people, especially women, and we get along. Oh my God.
Yes, and we're inspiring each other. There's always a video, a post, a picture, something, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Each other's up.
Yes, it's almost foreign, but it's actually something that I'm glad that I was able to see. Because honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't have faith in Black women. I love my sisters and everything, but we tear each other down so much. This was something I needed to see.
Our first call, I was very skeptical, and not because of the call. It was after the call. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, because I'm like, when we all got on, I was like, oh Jesus, here we go.
Oh man! And then and now now we get on, it's like, hi everybody, hey sis, hey girl. Now that we get on, it's so loving and warm.
Right.
But I remember that
But
first
this first call, but even after like the initial shock that first of all, we all black. After that initial shock, and then Lady T just said, boom, 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 we're gonna do this, that, and the other.
Yes.
And there was no whining, no, well, she said that. It was like, oh my God, okay. I'm gonna stick with this because these women seem like they about it. So
yes. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Now I love the community that we have, and I mean, even after the anthology, I hope that we keep that group open because I feel like we're a family now, and I live in Costa Rica, but we have to all have it like an anthology. You guys should come down here to Costa Rica for an anthology retreat just for the women of war.
I hear you. That would be great. I can read and meditate. Well, we got a lot of meditators in different modalities, girl. Yeah.
Yes.
We are some bad women.
Mm-hmm. We are, and we need to meet each other in person, so we can feel that love. I know that there are going to be a few that's going to show up in Texas. It's not in Austin. It's in the summit. You guys, for anyone's listening, is going to be in Dallas, Texas, December 12th. You guys need to go on to my link tree in my bio and go buy yourself a ticket because it's going to be something that you guys are not going to want to miss. But we're going to do more of these. And that's all together. I just know that it's going to be something beautiful. So how can anyone get a hold of you if they want to start? I mean, do you do anything virtually or is yours in person?
So all of my practice is, I won't say all because I do a lot of group events in the city, but my one-on-one practice is all virtual. Okay. And I literally have clients now all over almost the world.
Okay, great. Well, how
navigating all these different time zones.
Right. How can anyone get a hold of you if they want to start their process?
So I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Livin, Livin, Livin Life Coaching Practice. And also I have a website, Livin, Livin, Life LLC.com. Either one of those ways, Instagram, Facebook, straight through my website, straight to me.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for giving me your time. This story was beautiful.
Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, we got to do this again because there's like I'm sitting like I didn't ask all my questions. I want to talk about Greece.
Yes. Well, I will say that if you want to follow my tragic story, it's on YouTube and it's Diva Down, Diva Diva Down, DOWN. And there's an entire playlist that follows an entire year of the journey. Now, there's not 365 recordings, but it follows the entire year of my journey up to the day that I said that I will, no longer be doing that part of the journey because I needed to completely heal. And by me rehearsing it in these videos, that was one of the things that was holding me from the complete healing. So I had to release even that part.
What you can do is, if you can, after we get off, just send me all of your contact, and I'm going to update my my description for this episode, and I'm going to have that in there so that anybody who wants to see, because I want to see it myself, but anybody else who might want to watch your transformation from being completely paralyzed to being, a triathlon once again, not in the Special Olympics. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not the goal.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah, that wasn't your story. Yes, your story meant that you were going to run across. So everything that you want me to put out there for you, just send it to me, and I'm going to put it, you guys, I'm going to update the description of this episode, and you can find it if you want to reach out to her for coaching, if you want to check out her YouTube story for just inspiration and motivation. I'm going to have it available for you guys in the descriptions of this episode. Miss Candace, Dr. Candace Hayden. I love that. That's another thing. You don't see too many Black women that are doctors. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much. I think you froze on me. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing this story. Thank you so much for making yourself vulnerable and not silencing yourself. I love it. And thank you so much for pointing out the systematic racism in the medical field.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. You're very welcome.
That part.
Well, I will be talking to you
much.
soon.
And lots of love to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Same to you.
I'm sorry, Miss Candace. I'm sorry. I think I cut you off a little soon. I'm sorry, sis. Oh my God, this woman is spectacular. She's somebody I'm probably going to be looking up to for the rest of my life. So even though she had hope and she didn't allow these people to mentally affect her, which she probably could have, but I see someone who was strong. There are individuals who could have been in those situations who dealt with that, who might not have had that much motivation. And if you are someone who is thinking about harming or hurting yourself, if you're in a situation that you feel like you can't get out of, you can always text the crisis hotline, text the word HOME to 741-741, and they have 24/7 support in the United States. So I always like to close out with some type of real support, some real resources to help anyone who might be in a situation where they might need that professional support. So first of all, I would like to take a moment again to thank Dr. Candace Hayden for sharing her light, her truth, and her journey with us. It takes deep courage to speak your pain out loud, and even deeper strength to use that pain as a platform to help others rise. I am honored. We are honored to have her as part of this movement. And if her voice touched even one heart today, that her purpose continues to ripple beyond this episode. So please, again, don't forget to look into my description and get any and all of the information that you need to contact her so that she can keep healing this community. Now, to you, the survivor, you who is listening with a wide heart and open ears and eyes, I want you to know something. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not too broken, too late, too lost, or too far gone. I don't care how messy your healing looks or how slow your progress feels. Healing is not easy. Some days you'll roar. Some days you'll whisper. Some days you'll barely make it out of bed. And that's still part of the fight. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to keep showing up for you. The world will try to convince you, including some of these doctors, that your lies and that your worth lies in productivity, your beauty, or your ability to carry everyone else's pain, which it does not. But I need you to unlearn all of those lies. Your value is something that you earn. Your value is not something that you earn. It's something that you were born with. You deserve love. You deserve rest, softness, freedom, support, safety, simply because you exist. You are not a burden. You are a blessing. You are not too much. You are more than enough. Every time you choose to tell your truth, to cry without shame, to rest without guilt, to speak up instead of shrinking down, you are rewriting the rules that tried to cage you. You're becoming your own rescue. And when you rise, others watching you will learn how to rise too. This is how we heal generational wounds, by refusing to hide ours anymore. So keep going. Not because everything is fixed, but because you are worth fighting for. And I will leave you with a quote, because I love to leave quotes, from a special woman, a beautiful woman, Angela Davis, who said, "I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I'm changing the things I cannot accept." And I know that's from one of those prayers, but that is some of the most powerful things I've ever heard. And let that be a reminder. You don't have to stay stuck in survival mode. You have every right to build a life that feels like freedom. Your story does not end in pain. It very much begins in power. I'm your host, PJ, and I will see you next time. Mwah.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get